Okay, well today I'm going to be making some super fruity boilies, and the main ingredient is going to be Fruit Loops. These are just the generic Walmart version of Fruit Loops, and this box is kind of funny. I think when the carps see your bait, they're going to look like this, and then when they get hooked, they're going to be like this. So let's get started. Very sweet smelling. Start off with, I'm going to grind up some of this cereal in the food processor. And the first grind I'm going to do is going to be into a pretty fine powder. Show you what I got here. It's pretty fine. There's a few chunks in there, but it's mostly pretty fine powder. That's going in the bowl. And this next batch, the next load, I'm going to grind a little bit less, have some bigger chunks left over. As you can see, there's some bigger chunks left. There's still even some whole ones left in there. And I'll explain why I'm leaving these here in just a minute. Give that a little mix. Get the fine stuff and the rough stuff mixed up a little bit. Good. Now I'm going to go with 2 eggs. Whisk those up a little bit. And then to the eggs, I'm going to add a little bit of apple juice. Just going to add a little bit more liquid and some more sweetness. Start out with that. Now I'm going to add some flour to my dry mix. I don't know how much. Again, I'm just going to put, I don't know, approximately a cup of flour. We will fine-tune this mix with the liquid and the dry here in just a minute. Get that flour mixed in with the cereal a little bit here. The flour does need to be wheat flour. This is just all-purpose flour, but it needs to be wheat flour that has gluten in it. That will make sure that your boilies are nice and firm, stick together well. And then the purpose of the eggs is because eggs are not water soluble. So if you need to use eggs in a boilie so that your boilies don't dissolve while they're soaking in the water. And I like to use gloves for this part just for easy cleanup. Clearly you don't have to, but it just makes, you don't have to waste a bunch of water washing your hands for 10 minutes after you're done. Okay, I'm just going to add the egg and apple juice mixture to the cereal and the flour mixture. Don't need to stir it in slowly or anything fancy. Dump it in, start mixing. Once you start doing this, you'll know really quick whether you need to add more liquid or more dry ingredients. We're making a dough here. So you just want to keep mixing until the consistency of like a pizza dough or bread dough is what you get. And keep mixing it up until there's no more dry powder in here. So here's what I've got so far. And the reason for these larger chunks in there is that those float. And so each boilie is going to have some whole chunks of cereal in there. And that boilie, instead of being pegged to the bottom of the lake, it's going to easily, when a carp comes over top of it and kind of sucks up dirt around it, it's going to easily just waft up into the carp's mouth. I think that helps. I don't know if it does for sure, but I like to do it that way. So what I do is I kind of smash it and fold it over until it starts to really stick to itself. You want to just kind of keep doing that until you can get it to really stick to itself and kind of start acting real rubbery. See how this breaks apart in chunks? That's not what we want. We want something that's stretchy and rubbery. That tells me I need to add more flour. Now this does take a little time. I'm skipping over a bunch of this in the video, but I'm probably going to do this here mixing for probably about 10 minutes or so. And just kind of fine-tuning the wet and dry ingredients until I get a stretchy dough. And I'll show you that once I get there. We're getting close. What I'm doing now, it's just kind of wanting to stick together real well, and I'm just folding it over and then smash it with the heel of my hand and then fold it over, smash it again. Just doing that for a while. Okay, here's my ball of dough. It's nice and stretchy. See how it just stretches and doesn't crumble apart like a paste? Sticks together like a dough. Now it's time to make some boilies. And what I do, you can use boilie rolling tools if you have them, but what I do is I just grab a little pinch, put it between your palms. There you go. Rinse and repeat. Do that about 100 times and you got a big pile of boilies ready for the pot. Okay, as you can see, that ball of dough made a lot of boilies. I didn't count them, but there's a lot there. And you can see the larger chunks of cereal showing through there and the colors. That's going to add both color and buoyancy to these boilies. I'm going to put these in boiling water for 3 to 5 minutes. Don't worry if they're stuck together right now. They will not stick together after they hit the water. They will come apart as they cook. Get in there. There we go. Sizzle, sizzle. Give them a little stir just to break them apart, just like you do with pasta. Give that 3 to 5 minutes. Alright, we're going to get these out of the boiling water with a slotted spoon onto a cookie sheet lined with a paper towel. And these will increase in size from the water. They'll swell up a little bit and they will shrink back down as they dry. You want to let these sit out and dry for, I would say, a minimum of like 3-4 hours. But I'm probably going to leave them sit out for a full day until they get a nice firm skin on them. And then you want to store them in the freezer so they don't rot. But I'll come back in 3-4 hours after they've dried a little bit and developed a skin on them to show you, give you a little closer look what the finished product is going to look like. Alright, it's been a couple hours and they've got a pretty decent little skin on them here. Let me get a couple in my hand to show you, give you a close-up here. Yeah, so they turned out pretty good. You can really see the different colors of the larger chunks of cereal that are in there. That adds some color, which I don't think is very important, but it does add some buoyancy, which I do think is important. And they're pretty squishy right now. It's only been a couple hours. I mean, they're firm enough to use, but like I said, I'm going to leave these out for probably 24 hours. If you leave them out too long, then they'll just get hard as a rock. But again, you want to store these in the freezer. I'm just going to put them in a freezer bag in the freezer, and they'll keep for a long time. Catch lots of fish. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. See you on the next one.